Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And man, we're getting into a Hollywood cat fight. Netflix and Paramount are fighting over Warner Brothers. And it's getting pretty nasty because Netflix is saying that they hope that after Paramount presents its deal to the board that they can get over, this whole thing, like because of their antics. And this is it's going to be ugly, guys.
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
There's no way it's not going to be ugly.
And we're basically battling for the soul of Hollywood. But I don't think that's hyperbole. I think that this deal, whichever way it falls, is going to determine the future of Hollywood as a whole, whether or not continues, we continue with theatrical releases and physical media releases, or it just, Hollywood becomes part of the tech empire. Either way, it's going to be changed forever. There's no going back.
I mean, if I'm being fair, I think no matter what people do, it's going to eventually go to the place where it's on streaming. It's not going to be in theaters.
Yeah.
But it's funny to me because people are having meltdown in their last videos. They're like, because you're picking sides. I'm like, no, bitch. I told you then. I'm going to say it again. I don't care. I mean, I know Kneon cares. For me, I'm just like, whatever. Hollywood's going to burn down either way. So
I think, look, for the long-term viability of Warner Brothers IP, I think the best bet, frankly, is Paramount. And I understand people don't like the politics of the Ellisons. I get that. But you're not going to be happy with Netflix either because they're going to talk a good game. And then as soon as they get a hold of Warner Brothers, they're going to shut a bunch of stuff down.
I agree.
They're going to stop releasing movies in theaters. They're going to shut down DC Comics. Yeah.
I do think Hollywood's best bet is Paramount. But I still am like, like the most of the normies out there, it's like, don't care.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Everybody gets so ass mad about this, and this is what we covered yesterday with Paramount thing. We found an activist article over on Pajiba.
Oh, that was so funny.
Oh my God, and people were so angry about things, but I'm like, someone in the comments pointed out correctly that normies are not going to know. They don't know anything. All they're going to be looking at is like, oh look, Batman's on.
Well, that's what I said in the other video. Now. I said normies are like. He's like, no, everybody needs to be careful. I'm like, normies don't care. Like, yeah. I'm too normie, I guess, because, I mean, logically speaking, I get Paramount is probably the better bet if you want to keep theatrical and stuff. But I honestly, I mean, what do they even have that's worth anything at this point in time? They got rid of so much of it, and then it's like, maybe the comics, DC stuff, and that. But I honestly, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll talk about it because
everybody else does, and that's okay if you do.
They're in a slap fight right now. We're going to talk about.
It's like a little bitch fight. I'm not going to lie.
It is. We'll talk about why people are so pissed off about Paramount because we've got Colbert now slam the FCC over CBS, and they're afraid that basically what's going to happen is if Paramount gets a hold of Warner Brothers, they're also going to get a hold of CNN, and it's going to be that everywhere, and they're not happy about it. But I'm like, the alternative is Netflix gets a hold of Warner Brothers and they shut everything down. They shut a lot of stuff down.
Wait, I'm confused. Okay, here's the thing. And when a girl says she's confused, she's not confused. So if they
I'm confused.
But wait, no, listen. They're one breath saying CNN isn't left, it isn't far left, and it's center, and it's not fair, and it's totally fine. You shouldn't get rid of it. But then why do they care if Paramount gets it then? If it's already at center and it's not far left and it's not like their mouthpiece, which I keep claiming it's not, then why do they care if they get it over at Paramount? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just like a basic news site, and it was take it or leave it, and it wasn't their mouthpiece as they keep trying to argue. Then how does it make a difference if Paramount gets it and rolls it into CBS or sells it? It would change nothing, right?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about where we're at with things. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
All right, so let's roll back a little bit here, and we'll talk about Cartoon Network and the future of that, too. We've got some news that a lot of the Cartoon Network shows are already being pawned off to Tubi, which is probably a good thing. But because Warner Brothers does not care, regardless of who buys it, Warner Brothers does not care about Cartoon Network.
No.
They don't.
That's
They
what
made
I'm
that
saying.
very
They've been getting
clear.
rid of stuff anyway, so what do they have left? You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what the whole thing was. That's what people don't understand. Zaslav came in. He didn't come in to fix Warner Brothers. He came in to prep Warner Brothers for a sale. And I personally believe behind the scenes, he's been talking to Ted Sarandos the whole time.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's what the accusations are. Now, you said about Cartoon Network, Paramount's been canceling cartoon shows too. They only care about the ones that make money. So for cartoons, the best bet was probably Netflix at this point.
Yeah, so I mean, this is gonna be really complicated because Netflix does seem to care about animation to a degree, but they also shut things down pretty quick without giving them a chance. Like they shut down the Terminator anime, and that one was really well regarded, but they shut that thing down because it doesn't make enough money. It's not enough. So it's all
okay. So the animation. I'm so sorry. Besides the fact that shrinking, it's getting outsourced. The powers that be, the studios that might be taking over everything, don't care about you.
They don't. And this is you're gonna have
more bad news, I guess.
And I mean, this is what blows my mind too about these cartoon stands is that they're like, oh, we need to go with Netflix because Netflix animation. I mean, like Netflix is cutting back on things too. Remember that whole animation campus they built that they're doing jack shit with now, that they're going to go all in on the animation, but then they turned around and canceled a bunch of stuff. Now they're just importing it from Japan. Mm-hmm. That it's
well, that's better anyway. Anime is more popular with people than some of the animation shows because a lot of them went all in on, especially Netflix and stuff, went all in on modern day animation. We all know what that means, and it bit them in the ass because everybody just wants to watch anime and good stuff.
Anime and good stuff. So let's talk about this here. This is coming from Deadline. This is just like less than an hour ago. Netflix hopes Warner Brothers Paramount talks will finally resolve this matter. Berates David Ellison Company for misleading Warner shareholders. Interesting. So Netflix on Tuesday slammed Paramount's antics and blasted David Ellison for misleading Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders on the regulatory landscape in an aggressive defense of its own Warner Brothers Discovery deal. That agreement, signed last December and unanimously approved by the Warner Brothers board, will be put to a vote on March 20th. Warner announced today, even as it simultaneously unveils plans to engage with Paramount for a 7-day window through February 23rd. And that might just be for optics. I mean, let's be honest.
Because they're doing the vote for. So basically, what's going on is shareholders are going to vote on whether or not they want to go along with the deal on the 20th. But now Paramount's getting a 7-day window to try to make it a competitive deal. But like you said, I don't know if it's legit or if they're just doing it to say, oh, look, we gave them a chance, so they shut up. I don't know.
That's what I think. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a damn good deal. I think what is going to be the fly in the ointment, though, is the regulatory hurdles, because it's very obvious that the feds are gunning for Netflix. They're not real happy about it because a lot of the people that were growing them were conservative, and they were like, hey, your cartoons are too gay. We don't want you gay. I'm like, have you seen the Cartoon Network shows already? It's like,
I'm just like looking at both of these and I'm seeing problems either way.
Yeah, there's no good solution.
Like, no, but I mean, like, regulatory. I'm like, I don't understand why they keep saying that there's going to be problems with one side, not the other, because that's not true. Paramount already has a big studio. They're a big studio. Then if they're going to get another, then they get Warner Brothers, then they have another big studio. So that's a question there, where Netflix, is their own streaming thing, but they don't really do studio stuff. And then you have Warner Brothers, has CNN. And if it goes to Paramount, they have CBS. So that's a problem with regulations there. But Netflix, if they get, they'd get HBO Max, which puts them with another huge streamer, which should be a problem with regulations there. So like when they keep arguing it's going to be more on one side than the other, I'm seeing issues on both. Like I see two places that, based on prior things they were upset about or worried about, I see trouble that could be on either side.
So this is what Netflix said. They said throughout the robust and highly competitive...
Stop using the word robust.
Robust and highly competitive strategic review process, Netflix has consistently taken a constructive, responsive approach with Warner Brothers, in stark contrast to Paramount Skydance. While we are confident that our transaction provides superior value and certainty, we recognize the ongoing distraction for Warner Brothers stockholders in the broader entertainment industry caused by Pesky's antics. Accordingly, we granted Warner Brothers a narrow 7-day waiver of certain obligations under a merger agreement to allow them to engage with Pesky to fully and finally resolve this matter. You can go out with her Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't tell me what you did
Okay.
and then come back to me when you're done.
So Netflix is saying, so when it's out there running, yes, when they're running with this narrative, oh, they're going to get a 7-day window to look at the deal. Netflix is like, we allowed them to do that, so they can shut them down. That's what Netflix is trying to say. Yeah.
We were on a break. We're going to give you a 7-day window.
We're going to give you, sow your wild oats and then come back.
This does not change the fact that we have the only signed board recommended agreement with Warner Brothers, and ours is the only certain path to delivering value to Warner Brothers stockholders. It insisted zeroing in on regulatory approval. So this is where I think they're going to get tripped up. Netflix is confident that our transaction, a largely vertical merger of complementary assets, has a clear path to timely regulatory approval. Netflix and Warner Brothers have each submitted their Hart-Scott-Rodino filings and are engaged constructively with competition authorities globally, including the DOJ, State Attorney General, European Commission, UK Competition, Markets Authority, etc. By contrast, Pesky has repeatedly mischaracterized the regulatory review process by suggesting its proposal will sail through, misleading Warner Brothers stockholders about the real risk of their regulatory challenges around the world. Warner Brothers stockholders should not be misled into thinking that Pesky has an easier or faster path to regulatory approval. It does not, said Ted Sarandos.
They're talking globally too, and globally they were already on board with Netflix because they were having those meetings and stuff. The German paper reported.
Right. I just in the U.S. I'm telling you, they're gonna have problems because this is about politics. This is about, I think, Trump wanting to have CNN shut down or shut up.
But he said he was staying out of it. But
he says he's staying out of it, but he put people in charge that are going to do what he wants, right?
But if that's the only reason that you're gonna stop it, then that's kind of shit,
So here's the thing, because Paramount already put in place their ombudsman or whatever it is that basically goes through and makes sure that nothing is going to cause a problem with the FCC. And that's how they're running it at CBS News. And we'll talk about that because that's what this whole thing is about, why everybody's freaking out about Paramount. Because on paper, if it wasn't for the politics, on paper, Paramount would be the better option for Hollywood to continue as uninterrupted as possible. There's no stopping the change, but they can sort of put a couple of Band-Aids on the mortal stab wound. If they would go with Paramount, they have more time. If they go with Netflix is going to say whatever shit they have to say to get this deal through, and they're going to be like, you know what, we don't like Blu-rays. You know what, we don't really need to publish comic books. You know what, we don't need so many TV shows. We're going to do 6-episode seasons and whatever. We're not putting the movie in the theater because we want to drive subscribers over here. So the next Batman movie is getting dumped on Netflix. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to happen. They're saying they're not going to do that. But
bullshit.
Given past behavior, when they say past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior, they're totally going to say one thing and do another.
Yeah, they're saying whatever they have to say to get it through. And it might be after the deal goes through, if it is Netflix, right? After the deal goes through, it might be that there's a honeymoon phase where for the first year or two, nothing really is interrupted, right? Because usually when one company acquires another company, there is a period of time where they start doing research to see where they can start cutting people, or cutting projects or whatever it is. And Netflix, I think, will do that just to be like, look, guys, we're one of the good guys. We're on your side. Cool. All the gay cartoons you want. Sure, Jan, sure. And then it's all going to change. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of screeching in Hollywood like, oh, my God, guys, there's hardly any new TV shows. And all the movies are getting dumped on streaming. And, oh, my God, they're outsourcing to other countries and using AI. Oh, my God, we were lied to. It's like, no. they're a tech company. They're going to do what they're going to do.
We're also looking at, too, that Warner Brothers could be favoring Netflix, too, in the fact that, which we mentioned, they don't want everything. They will allow Warner Brothers to spin off into Discovery Global, which is what they planned on doing, where they could all keep their own, have their cake and eat it, too. They get to keep their own streamer and then sell off what they don't want, but then they get to keep their own company and the shareholders and all that for the Discovery. And then, but Paramount wants all of it. So they can do with what they want with it.
What value does that bring? Because CNN is like,
I don't think it brings much value either.
CNN's dying.
I don't think it's a lot of value either. But I'm just saying, they think it is. They're like really, they're like so gung ho on that. I think that's a big hold up for them too, is that because they can still keep that Discovery Global. for whatever reason. They're really, really invested in that.
Well, it's interesting because Deadline is pointing out that, again, there's no ideal solution here, but they said critics of the Netflix deal, and there are many, including guilds, exhibitors, and select lawmakers, doubt the streamer's newfound commitment to theatrical windows and are also concerned about the cost cuts and the threat of a monopoly and streaming with HBO Max and Netflix. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I mentioned those. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically at that point, it's going to be Netflix and HBO versus Disney and Hulu and Fox and whatever the
Disney's Hulu. Else. But the thing is, again, Disney got to do Hulu and Disney Plus. Now, granted, they were very involved in Hulu, but when they got the Fox asset, they didn't have Disney Plus. You know what I mean? They did that later, and then they rolled them together. But yeah.
So we'll mention this here, and then we'll talk here about the Colbert. But so already, I mean, look, if you're worried about the cartoon stuff, and I know a lot of people are worried about the cartoon stuff, Cartoon Network is fucking dead. It's over. It's not coming back. All right, it's going to the butterfly farm.
But good news is you can watch stuff on Tubi, and honestly, Tubi's a better place to watch things.
Oh, no. They'll be like, Tubi's owned by Fox and Rupert Murdoch and nyam.
I just think it's funny, though, because you said way back that you thought it was hilarious that Disney wouldn't buy, Tubi because they wanted to build their own. Yes. And then Fox used the money that they overpaid to go buy Tubi. And you said, watch Tubi become start to become a competitor. And that's exactly what happened. And you said that as soon as he got control of it, you said that. And it was that's what happened.
Oh, you don't have to like Rupert Murdoch, but he's not stupid. He took Disney's own money.
Nor are you. Because you saw that coming from day one.
Oh, yeah. I'm I know what he's doing. He's going to trick Disney into spending too much money. And have a garage sale, let Disney have all the old shit that's not really worth it anymore, and then he's going to go start a streaming service because somebody else has already built it. I mean, Disney could have done the same thing. Tubi was for sale. They could have spent, I think it was $400 million. They could have spent $400 million and bought Tubi and then just repurposed it for Disney Plus. Instead, they went out and built something from the ground up, and it had all kinds of problems at launch. And it was really dumb. They were like, no, the framework's good. It's got good bones. We can just throw our content on it and we're good to go. But yeah, they're making deals with Warner Brothers. They got a whole bunch of the newer Cartoon Network stuff. We know that I think Turner, Tubi had some of the Looney Tunes, but I think Turner has a lot of the Looney Tunes stuff on it too. But they're getting codename. There's a list. Kids Next Door, Abbott and Costello, Addams Family, the 70s Addams Family.
Animaniacs, Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, The Batman, Ben 10, Pinky the Brain, Justice League, Brave and the Bold.
Damn.
Ed and Eddie, Courage, Fosters. Yeah. There's a whole bunch more. The list is really long.
Yeah, so this is actually really cool. They said it's also cool. Several B and C listers like Evil Con Carne and Lunatics Unleashed are getting some love. Yeah, Mucha Lucha. These are shows that Cartoon Network itself has not run in years, and Boomerang's been done for a while. Cartoon Network's dead. Warner Brothers never cared about it. All
they're doing is licensing the shit out to other people who are willing to pay for it.
Yeah. And that was the plan. But you know what? This is actually kind of a good thing. Now, I don't know what happens if Netflix does wind up buying Warner Brothers, if they're just going to let this deal play out. I mean, I don't know if they care either. They're canceling their own shows.
They probably want this. Yeah, they'll probably want some of those things back eventually. But if they get it. But people were joking. They said, yeah, all this is going to do is mean Netflix is going to raise its prices.
Oh, absolutely. Because HBO Max is already one of the most expensive things which I don't understand. You're basically just paying for HBO like cable, and there's a handful of good shows on there, but it's already crazy expensive.
I don't watch it, so.
But, so let's talk about this. This is what it's really about. Colbert slams FCC and CBS, priming for fight over equal time rules. Colbert lashed at the FCC and his own. They might fire him.
He's almost done anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, he's almost done. He doesn't give a shit. His own network during his show Monday night after CBS scrapped an interview he had planned with a Texas politician after teasing an appearance by actress and businesswoman Jennifer Garner. Oh, on Monday's episode of The Late Show, Colbert said that he wouldn't have his other expected guest, Texas State Rep James Tallarico, a Democrat running for Senate, on the show. We were told in no uncertain terms by our network lawyers, who calls directly, that we could not have him on the broadcast. He was also told he couldn't mention that he wasn't able to bring the politician on the show.
He just did.
Colbert said the network was worried of running afoul of the FCC's equal time rules, which apply to radio and broadcast television and require shows to have candidates on during elections to also bring on their opponents. Yeah.
Well, that actually has been a rule for a while. That's
a long
like
time.
A new one, yeah.
Right. But they're going to really crack down on that now because Barry Weiss is there. And
well, we saw like last time with Harris and Trump that these networks definitely, found ways around that to give Harris more time because they were trying to get their buddy to win. I think you could push it too far personally. I don't, if someone's have a guest on, then they want a guest on, who cares? But, that's the rule. So.
Well, it's because it's network television. If it was cable, it wouldn't be an issue. If it was a podcast, it wouldn't be an issue. But because it's network. Because it's network, there are definitely rules.
And he doesn't care if he got told not to do it by lawyers because he figures he's out anyway. What are they going to do? Fire him, like you said? And it's, the rest of us are like, well, he's going to be gone soon anyway. Who cares?
What would be ironic is if Netflix does get that, and then they wind up with like Colbert on Netflix or something.
Well, they could. It's possible.
He could do whatever the hell he wants because they had David Letterman was on there. They had the Obamas on there. I could totally see them being like, watch Colbert, watch come over to Netflix.
They'll have to call it something probably else because they probably unless they own the rights to it, but they could give him his own show if he's gone anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, they probably could. No one's gonna watch it. They didn't watch this one. So.
But you'll never know Netflix because they're not really transparent with their numbers, right? But he's either gonna do that or he's gonna jump over to because they've got Bill Maher over on HBO too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know for how long this thing goes through, but he's gonna do this or he's gonna do podcasts or something. Like the only reason they're cracking down on him is he's on network TV.
Yeah.
If he wasn't on network, if he wasn't on network TV, they'd be like.
So you'd think he'd be wanting out because then he can go do something else where he can do it more what he wants to do.
I think he wants out. He's definitely done. I've been there. I'm like, I know I'm leaving. I'm just like biding my time. That's what's going on. But there we go, guys. This is going to be interesting. Even if they get the green light, it could take a couple of years for this to go through.
They said, well, it wasn't going to be that long, but they said it would take a while.
At least a year, 18 months probably.
Because they have, it depends. I guess if they do the Netflix deal, they're going to have to take time to spin off the Discovery Global first before they can finalize the deal. I think the Paramount one actually would go through faster because they want everything, but it's going to be the shareholders. But it's interesting because they're getting an extra week, but according to Netflix, they allowed it. So
they allowed it. He
didn't cheat on me. I told him he could do it for a week.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, just don't take her to that restaurant. That's our place. Anyway,
see, if Kneon ever did that, he wouldn't be walking the next day. So
yeah, so okay, guys. So if one of these days I'm not on like 10 episodes in a row, I didn't kill myself. No. That would not happen. Actually, no. There was a time I remember I lost my voice last year, and you had to do
I had to do all of them. Or you got the flu the one time.
Yeah, so it does happen. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.